Hello, and in today's show, we are sharing some of the things that you can claim as expenses as a freelancer.
Welcome back to JFDI with the two Lauras. This is our weekly show where we talk about all sorts of things in relation to working as a freelancer, social media manager, ads manager, social media marketer, whatever it is you want to call yourself. And as a freelancer in any of those kind of areas, there are a lot of things that you need to run your business in a professional way and your client's social accounts. And when you very first start out in business, sometimes that can feel really expensive. And we've had a lot of questions recently where people are asking, can I claim X, Y, Z as expenses? And let me just say, we are not accountants, but more often than not, the answer is a big fat yes. So on the show today, we want to talk through some things that you can claim as expenses to bring your tax bill down so you don't have to pay for them yourself. So should we dive straight in?
Yeah. Okay. And I think it is worth saying, before we get into the nitty-gritty of what people can claim as expenses, I think people worry about like when they're doing like their tax return, the kind of categories of expenses. But actually, I think there is a threshold, and maybe we should have checked this, but we aren't financial advisors, so all of you should be checking all of this with your bookkeeper and accountant. That's your my caveat there. But I think it's over £80,000. So if you are earning less than £80,000 a year, you are just going to be clumping together your expenses in one number. You're not going to have to be breaking it down into different categories. And, you know, if you're over 80k, then, I'm guessing you'll probably be using accountants anyway who will be advising you on this. But if you're earlier on in your business or have a lower income, then all business expenses just get clumped together. So as long as you're keeping a record of those, however, just a basic spreadsheet, if you've got the spreadsheet in the toolkit, which was created for me by my accountant husband, is what I use now and have used for years and years and years. So just a basic spreadsheet is absolutely fine, but just you don't worry too much about this.
Yeah. And one thing I think we should say, and we are not accountants, but quite often our accountant
will say... Do you want to say that one more time?
Yeah. By the way, I'm not an accountant. Which, if you're a regular listener, will come as no surprise because you know that I don't like numbers. But anyway, our accountant will often say to us, if we want to claim something, that it has to be, whatever it is, has to have been exclusively for the business to be claimed as a business expense. And if it's not, then you can sometimes only claim a percentage, which is why I think it's really important that you do have an accountant or a bookkeeper or someone like that advising you if you're unsure. Like I would never do my own books, which is no surprise. But yeah, you just want to make sure you get it kind of right. But
yeah. And if you've got questions, ask people. Don't kind of suffer in silence. Like we're forever saying to our account, can we claim this? Can we claim that? Can we claim this?
Yeah, and then when he says no, you're like, why not?
Yeah, we really wanted, when we were speaking at Atomicon, we were like, surely if we've got to buy a new outfit, we can claim for that. And they were like, no.
Yeah, bummer.
I know.
Anyway,
we want to
let's dive into some things that you actually can claim, shall we?
Yes. Let's not just have a moan.
So the first one, and I think this is the one that people get most annoyed about having to spend money on, and that is the tools that you run your business. Like people are forever like, oh, where can I get a free scheduling tool? Well, you don't need a free one. You need a good one that's going to help you to do your job well.
Best one.
Yeah, the best one, even if it's paid, because you should be pricing properly, and then that is an expense that you claim as an expense in your business. And there's lots of different tools that you might be using in your business that will help you to do your business well, to do things quicker, easier, etc. And all of those can be put down as expenses. So like, for example, we use tools like Missive to run our email. We use Airtable, Slack. Like there's so many different tools that we use on a day-to-day basis. We're recording this in Riverside, for example. All of those we claim as expenses. And you might not use those specific tools that I've just mentioned, but there will be tools that you use in your business that you pay for, and they're all a business expense.
Yeah. You should definitely be trying, and this is a slight tangent, as I knew it was coming, you should definitely be paying the absolute most that you can afford, and you should be able to afford the best schedulers, the best tools, because you should have priced accordingly when you have done your pricing for your clients. That enables you to be able to afford the best things. So it makes your job easier. It can be done more efficiently. It can be done with higher quality, therefore giving you a better reputation, which means that you'll get better clients, which means you can charge more money. Like, I know that we're just talking about whether or not to claim a scheduling tool as an expense, but it's bigger than that. It's about making sure that you are pricing accordingly. And also remember, these expenses means it's a taxable expense, as in you only pay tax on your profit. So the more expenses you put through your business, the less tax you are going to have to pay. So instead of thinking, oh, the more I spend on tools, the less money I'm going to earn, because that's going to make you then choose the free things, the crap things. Think of it differently. Think the more I spend, the less I'm going to have to pay the tax man. And that might motivate you to spend wisely. I'm not saying waste money at all, but I definitely think you should be trying to use the best tools on the market to help you do the best job.
And I think a lot of this will come down to when you are doing application forms, discovery calls, and putting proposals in for clients. And if things change when you're working with those clients, you're really looking at your numbers, and you know the numbers in terms of what expenses you're already paying out, what you want to earn, all of that stuff. And then you think, hang on, okay, so this client, I'm going to need to do a lot of competitor research for this client. I need to pay for Social Insider, for example. And you add the price of that onto the fee that you have just put in your proposal. You're like, okay, I put £1,000. Actually, no, let's change that and put 1,200, because then I can afford the tool. Right. Yeah. And you need to make sure that you're doing that. You're not just considering what you're already spending. Yeah. You're considering what you might need to spend as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Because the client, especially like for things like competitor analysis, the client is always going to be grateful that you've done that work. So, it's always going to make you look good. Yeah. So it should be something that I'm not saying give them an itemized bill saying that they're paying for this tool. It's just sucked up into their fee.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Okay, so that's one. All of the tools, online tools that you use. There's also some physical tools that you're going to use in your work as a social media manager. And if you are not using a phone, I will be astounded. But the vast majority of social media managers use a phone. Probably most of the time you're using your phone, you are using it for work. So therefore you can claim it as a business expense. Both the cost of the phone and the phone bill, I would imagine.
Just to interrupt there, when you were saying there's a physical tool that you may be using, I genuinely wasn't expecting you to say phone bill. Should I tell you what I thought? I thought you were going to say a calculator.
Oh my God, really? That just shows the difference between our brains.
Yeah.
Never.
And I was like, yeah, you can definitely, calculator, that's a good one.
Okay. Who these days, though, is buying a calculator when there's one on their phone?
Me.
Oh, you're such a geek. She's literally looking in her drawer for it. Okay, if you're watching on YouTube, there we go. There's the calculator. You missed that if you're just listening on the podcast. I'm sure you're really upset that you've missed out on that. But you can see it on YouTube.
It's a good calculator. Anyway, back to it.
Have I ever told you about when my husband bought me a calculator for Christmas?
I think you may have done, but go on.
A calculator,
just for the purposes of the...
Yeah, literally. On Christmas Eve, he told me he'd been to his favourite shop. On Christmas Day, I discovered that his favourite shop was WH Smith's, and my Christmas present was a calculator and a packet of Post-it notes.
Love it.
I don't know how we're still married.
I'd have been happy with that. Maybe you got the wrong Laura.
Yeah, maybe. Anyways.
I meant Christmas present, not wife. Like that. Okay, anyway, back to the phone. Yes, so it's not as clear cut as that. It depends. If you are buying the phone 100% for work, yes. And if the phone bill is 100% purely for your business, yes. If, like us, our phone bills are, because we just have the one phone, so the phone bills are multi-purpose, we only claim a percentage of our phone bills because we can't stop our kids ringing us, unfortunately. So it does depend slightly, and again, that's something you'll want to get advice from, and whether you're the type of person who would want two phones. No, personal and a work.
Dodge.
No, not me either.
Yeah. It's just got drug dealer vibes. It's not for me.
I used to have one with my old job, and it had to have one of those Blackberries. Do you remember?
Oh God, yeah, they were awful.
Yeah, I just used
Can't
to
buy them
lose
anymore,
it.
can you?
I don't know. I have still got it actually.
Oh Jesus, retro.
I know. Well,
Put it on eBay.
Yeah, and it's just having two phones is, especially because the Blackberry was what I was given. Like, it wasn't my choice, so it was all little, and I've got man hands, and we've moved on a lot since then.
We have.
Anyway, so the use of the phone will depend on how much you can use as an expense in your business. But it's definitely worth looking into, especially with the cost of phones nowadays. But I think more so and more likely, because it's a huge expense, is your computer, laptop, desktop, whatever you choose. You cannot do your job without one. Now, there are people who spout out crap all over the internet saying a social media manager, all they need is a mobile phone. We are not those people, because that is incorrect. If you are doing a proper job as a proper strategic social media marketer, that I know you are, then you will need a computer, and that is 100% an expense. So it will keep your tax bill down. So get what you can afford, get what you deserve and need to do your job well, because you can claim it as an expense.
Yeah, agree.
I don't think there's anything more to add on that.
No, love it. Anyway, if anyone fancies a trip to the Apple shop, we're always down for going with you, just as a little side note.
We love the Apple shop.
We do. We went all the way to LA, and the first place we went was the Apple shop.
Yeah, we did. And then we changed on the screens. The screens on all the phones and all the laptops, we changed it to our website. I'm sure we could get the photo of that. We have got photos somewhere.
I went to ask somebody for some help, and he didn't even work in the Apple shop. So that was really embarrassing. Anyway.
Yeah, but we were at Social Media Marketing World. So she'd walked up. So we were in LA. She'd walked up to this man to ask for advice on whatever she wanted to buy, and obviously he was very polite and just said, I'm sorry, I don't work here, to which obviously we were in fits and giggles about. And then we then drive down to San Diego, and we go to Social Media Marketing World, and I think it was like the last night, was it?
I can't remember.
Like the closing.
We were definitely
kind of
in the conference. No, we were in the conference.
I thought we were in the hotel.
Oh, maybe. Okay.
Yeah, it was the last night. It was the party, because it had been the business card night.
Oh, yes. That's a whole other story. We'll save that for another podcast.
And he was stood in the foyer, and we both just looked at him and burst out laughing. Because it was the Apple Man. Yeah, so he was called the Apple Man.
But hang on. I went up and said to him, oh my God, you were the man in the Apple shop that I asked for help. I'm so sorry. And he was like, what are you talking about? I haven't been to the Apple shop. And it wasn't even the same guy. No.
Oh, I always thought it was him, because he worked for that.
I screwed it up twice.
He worked for that tool, didn't he?
Yeah, I can't remember what it's called.
We're completely digressing.
No one cares about the story.
Okay, moving on. So, and my favourite type of thing to buy, stationery.
Yes, you love a good notebook, don't you?
I do love a good notebook, and this is only going to benefit people who are watching on the podcast. I used to
on YouTube. You mean?
Oh, what did I say?
You said on the podcast, but it doesn't matter.
Oh, I'm sorry. I had this created. So that's my old logo. And for those of you listening on the podcast, it's basically I got someone to create me an A4 document, ring bound with a fancy cover, and each column. So I had 5 columns, because I generally would only ever work with 5 clients at one time, and with a little tick box, and it was my to-do list. So I'd have a different column for each client. Honestly, I should have mass produced these.
Can we just have a zoom in on that for the benefits of YouTube, just so we can all see it? There we go. That's what we're working with. Love it. Maybe you should sell those. We could have them as merch. Podcast merch.
Oh my God.
If anyone wants to order one, let us know.
Yeah. But
you can claim it against expenses.
Because I was fed up of buying notebooks that I'd just get myself in a bit of a pickle, because I'd be like, when I wanted to sit down and work on one particular client's work, I was finding all my to-do lists and things were all muddled up. So I tried having like different notebooks for different clients, and you can just imagine that did not go well. So this was the best way. Though, to be fair, I would make some adjustments to it now, but I ordered these repeatedly for years.
Oh.
And that was an expense. So don't, if you can't find a notebook in WH Smith's, it's not sponsored by them. If you can't find a notebook in there, then design one yourself. Get it printed. You can do that in Canva nowadays.
Love it.
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay.
But all stationery, post-it notes, pens, anything like that. Printer cartridges, if you're someone who still
prints. My God. I bet you my husband bought the calculator and the post-it notes and put it as an expense against his business.
Yeah. Nice.
I've only just twigged that.
What a romantic.
He really is. Yeah, anyway.
Love it. Love it. Okay, so stationery is fairly straightforward. We all know what stationery is. Next is memberships, courses, training, anything like that is to help you do your job. It's a taxable expense.
Yeah. What I will say, though, is there is a caveat. It cannot be to start a new business. It has to be training for a business that you're already doing.
Yes.
So if you were not a social media manager, for example, and you did a social media management course, you wouldn't be able to claim that back unless you already had a business. And it has to be related to your current business. It can't be so you can kind of expand into a new area. So if you were a social media manager and you wanted to go and be a vet, you couldn't go and do a veterinary course and claim that as an expense against your social media management business.
Okay, so that's quite interesting then. So where's, and I know you're not going to know the answer to this, but where is the line? Like, as a social media marketer and you want to then go into graphic design, then there is a link.
Yeah, I think that would be fine because you're already doing graphic design potentially in Canva. You're just getting better at it.
Yeah.
You know, like with ads, you're already boosting posts and creating content that could be ads. You're just learning the strategy of how to do it better. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so long as you can justify it, then I think that's, you know, if the tax man came after you and asked you to justify it, you have to be able to justify it. And so I think you just need to think about that before you do it.
Yeah. If the tax man came over to you.
Well, you never know. You might come and knock on your door.
And
why did you buy this veterinary course?
It could be a tax woman.
Well, yes, okay.
So let's call them a tax person.
It could be a non-binary tax person.
Yeah, okay.
There we go.
Okay, so things like, so anything like memberships, if you're in the hub, that's a taxable expense. If you are a social media manager and then you've come along and bought the toolkit, same.
If you go to events, kind of things, you know, like if you go to Atomicon, for example, that's taxable, yeah.
And with that, the travel, you're going to that conference, the travel to that conference, you can use an expense. If you're staying in the hotel, that's an expense. Anything that, you know, if you then, when you're there, if you're eating out, expense. Because you can't, if you're there, you can't go home and make a sandwich, can you? You have to spend, especially in Newcastle, unless you live there. So you have to spend the money because you need to eat.
Right.
So, and on that point, if you, like, I used to do this a lot when I was running workshops, I would always buy coffees and some cakes for people on my workshop, a couple of coffees, one cake. They would be an expense.
God, you were tight. You only gave him one cake. Did they have to share it?
There was like a platter. No, as in like one cake each. But there was like a platter they could choose.
Okay.
And they often was more than one.
Okay, good.
And a couple of coffees each. More if they needed it. I wouldn't, you know.
Not tight then.
So yeah, those kind of things. If you're meeting a client for a coffee, like often, like I'll meet used to meet a client of mine all the time, and we would argue about who was going to put it through as their business expense. If you're buying coffee for somebody else, if it's a business meeting, all of that kind of stuff.
Nice.
Yeah.
Love it. That's kind of a good excuse to go out networking maybe and buy someone a coffee. You still won't see me doing it, but
if you're traveling, like mileage, parking, if you're going to an event, all of that. Just obviously, if you are using your car to travel to business meetings, you do need to make sure that you've got the appropriate insurance.
Okay, that's a whole different ball game. We're not going to go down that route today. That's just definitely not our area.
We're not going to go down that route any day because that's not our area of expertise. But definitely, if you are using your car for anything work related, like going to a networking event and you don't have business cover on your insurance, then you may want to add it. Because I only say this because when we were looking at my insurance, obviously you have, I can't remember the terms now, like social use, and then you have like commuting, and then you have like business use. So obviously people who are in their car all the time. And I was like, well, hang on, I don't commute anywhere, but occasionally, like when I drove up to Newcastle, I occasionally use my car. I drive to the train station if I'm coming to meet you. I'm doing a work-based drive, but it wasn't classed as a commute. So I had to get the caveat on that. But I did need insurance, yeah.
Okay. There we go. I feel like this podcast has taken a whole different turn now.
I know.
Yeah. But you can claim your insurance as an expense. So there we go.
Can you?
Well, yeah,
your business insurance.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I thought you meant your car insurance then.
Business insurance.
Yeah, business insurance, yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And if your car insurance has got that business thing, then you can probably claim a percentage of it.
Do you think?
Well, yeah, because you're insuring it for business reasons. So a percentage of it is business, surely.
Okay,
Again, I'm not an accountant. Don't put this through in your tax return based on what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, I definitely get advice on that one. Don't listen to Laura.
I hope we've got to the end of this podcast and you're thinking to yourself, I have got great advice here about my taxes.
I feel really confident on the advice that I've just been given. With every other sentence is, we're not accountants.
Yeah, totally. We probably should have just got an accountant on the show.
To be fair, this advice was all given to us from an accountant.
This is true, yes.
So, it has come. I know we are the ones delivering, and we have had a few rabbit holes we've gone down, but the main bones of this podcast has been provided by an accountant. So,
yes.
I'm fairly confident it's as accurate as it can be. But with anything like this, it is always worth getting professional advice.
Yeah. And also make sure that you're keeping your receipts. So if you're like Laura and I, and when we meet up, we've got loads of receipts for all the Diet Cokes that I buy. Yeah. And then we're like, who's going to carry the receipt? Just take a photo of it. And then you've got the receipt. There you go.
Yeah, you still should try and keep the hard copy though.
Okay, sorry, boss.
You can tell you don't do the numbers in our business, no. Laura.
No, not at all.
But yeah, if you can try and keep the hard copy, it's advised. I've got little envelopes everywhere.
Oh, geez.
I know. I should charge you rent for that.
I take photos of them and send them to you, and then I bin them.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Watch HMRC come and knock on my door. Anyway.
Don't say things like that out loud. Well, you'll just send them my way.
I will. I'll say you've got the wrong address. It's the wrong Laura. You need Laura too.
Oh.
Anyway, there we go. Let us know if you did actually learn anything in this podcast. I think it will be a miracle. But, maybe you did. Pop into our DMs. We're at the Two Lauras on every channel. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you for sticking with us, and leave us a comment below. And yeah, we'll be back. Same time, same place. What are you going to say? You look like you're about to drop some sort of bomb.
I'm just going to say, if you want to order one of your client to-do lists, then drop me a DM. I'll whip it up for you. Get it in the post. Just need your logo to whack on the front cover. Honestly.
Nice.
This is the new business plan is coming.
Okay.
All right. We'll see you in the DMs for the orders.
See you next week.
Bye. Cheers.